Okay, this one is an anomalous experience I had when I was married and I was living in Florida. I was in our new house, and this was, let me try to think what year it might have been. Probably 1996. So I was playing with our two dogs. We had a big black German Shepherd type dog, and we had a little Chihuahua, and they loved to play together, and then they loved to play with me, and like we would let the Chihuahua, me and the big dog would let the Chihuahua like jump on us and be dominant over us, you know, like I'd lay on my back and it would be like, ruff, ruff. Like, and it would do that to the dog too, the big dog. Anyway, we were having a blast, you know. I love playing with the dogs like that, and I'm really having a great time. I hear from the other, yeah, I'll tell it this way. I hear from the other side of the house, Vern! And it was my wife, of course. She's in Florida. The house was one level, all the same level, and just a very long house. Maybe, I don't know how many, 80 feet long or more, something like that. Yeah, probably 80 feet or so, maybe more. Anyway, I could hear her yell my name, but I was having too much fun and I didn't want to stop playing with the dogs. I was just having a blast. I ignored it. I just figured she saw a spider or something, you know, like she's in the shower. She probably saw a spider. It's gonna wash itself down the drain. Who knows? Like, I didn't really care that much. Probably 10 seconds later, I heard, Vern, get in here now! You know, like, come immediately. Like, there's no doubt I needed to jump up and run across the house. When I got to the bathroom door, I opened it. She's in the shower up against the back of the wall on the left side. And the drain is all the way to the right of the shower, of the tub, right? And she pulls back the curtain like this, and she's looking at me. She said, look. And I looked down, and there's a mass of blood and swirling in the water, and there's a piece of something, some tissue there. And I realized, she said it came out of me, you know, like, and I was like, my God, like, she had like a spontaneous abortion, right? And so we hadn't the slightest idea she was pregnant. She hadn't missed any period or anything, as far as we saw. Like, she probably had a fake one or something, right? Some bleeding or something, the last one. And so the tissue was small, maybe an inch. So it could have been more than a month, right? It was small, and it was developed. It wasn't just blob. It was developed, like you could see like veins. You could see like tiny veins, capillaries and things, like to feed the baby. I mean, it was obviously the very undeveloped fetus. And anyway, we held each other, and I picked it up with the toilet paper. We held each other and talked about what should we do with it. Like, it wasn't a baby yet, obviously. Though it was alive at one point, you know, probably, almost certainly. But, you know, at this point it was certainly dead, and there's nothing you could do about it. But I flushed it down the toilet, which a lot of people think that's bizarre. But, you know, we were both very like scientifically minded people, objective thinkers, science, I don't know, like not religious at all. So whatever religiosity that I had before was completely gone at this point by 96. I questioned religion in my mind over and over and over, and just realized it's just a belief system for people who need it, and I didn't need it anymore. Anyway, I flushed it down the toilet, and I thought about how to tell her what happened to me in meditation the night before. I had written in my journal, it was all written out. but I wondered how I could show her. And so it was later that day, when I think it was after we ate, and I was telling her, I said, I have something to show you, and it's going to be bizarre to you because I can't understand it whatsoever. I can't wrap my head around it at all. But I have something to show you in my journal, what happened during meditation last night. Now, she was Thai background. Her mother and father came from Thailand to the States. And so she had grown up with knowing what meditation was, knowing what Buddhism is, but probably not knowing anything really about the depth that meditation can take somebody. My experience in meditation was getting so deep at that point that the monks at the local temple, the Thai monks from Thailand, couldn't tell me what's going on with my meditation. So I was in no man's land. I had no teacher, but I was having these very deep experiences and levels of jhana meditation where I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know it was jhana anyway. In my journal, I wrote about what happened the night before. So I was sitting on the floor meditating as I always do, seated with legs crossed, hands like this or like this. And instead of closing my eyes this night, I left my eyes open because I felt so relaxed immediately as I sat that I wondered, I like to experiment with my meditation. So I left my eyes open for a bit and just stared at the floor, really, just not really looking at floor, but just kind of the eyes were down there and there were no thoughts in my head, really. The state was very close to what Buddhists call jhana 4. And I'll tell you about that a little bit later. So I'm just sitting there like that, feeling very relaxed, perfectly still, no thoughts, no me even. And I start to see a flutter in the carpet, like a pattern in the carpet, like a crisscross pattern or something, a grid pattern or something that was going different ways. And then it became more of a 3D, circular, blurry pattern with some lines in it. And it was about 1.5 meters, like 1.5 yards from my face, 5 feet away. And I just sat there and looked like that. Still no thoughts in my mind, because in that state, the mind doesn't make thought. You can see things, but it doesn't make a ripple in the mind, really. You can remember it later, but it doesn't mean anything at the time. So I just watch it for a while. It's coming up off the carpet, just a little bit, maybe less than a foot. And it feels like it's getting more intense, but it's also feeling like it's pulling some energy, some emotion from me. It's pulling from all parts of my sitting body. It feels like there's something being pulled from me. I got chills thinking about it. Something is being pulled from me towards that blurry thing that's suspended in the air right there. And at first it just felt like a pull, and then it turned into more of it's pulling the emotion, it's pulling love, it's pulling love, empathy, care, protective aspect, like it's pulling, I guess you could say, like pulling the strongest emotional love for it. It's pulling it out of me for it. And I had never had emotion like that during a meditation session. And it was like overwhelming. A number of times I closed my eyes, which is what I usually do during a bizarre experience, and I just see, like, does it still last or doesn't it? And when you close your eyes, you don't see it, but you still feel the pull. So I open my eyes again, it's still there, and it's still pulling. And that was bizarre enough, except that it went further, because not only did I feel the pull, but I felt a line of connection between that thing, me, and my family line, my mother and father behind me, their mothers and fathers behind them, and their mothers and fathers behind them. I felt a line of descendancy or something. Like I felt the line of connection back through our relatives of the past, leading up to me, and I got chills again, towards this thing. It was the most like unexplainable, like how could this even pop into my head that this is remotely possible? It just couldn't, right? In everyday life. This isn't a common thought people have. Anyway, I had never read anything like this. Buddhist books, very rarely talk about anything supernatural like this. They kind of keep it to themselves, and they don't want to write about it really, especially the monks. So I hadn't read anything about that. Anyway, this went on for over 5 minutes. I don't remember how long. Eventually it faded, and I sat there with my eyes open and like fully awake, just going, what the hell was that? Like, how in the hell could I have these feelings? It was just so bizarre. I immediately wrote in my journal everything that I could think about it. So anyway, at dinner I showed my wife that, and after she read it, and she said, "This happened last night." I said, "It happened last night." I said, "Before you had this experience." I said, "It seems as if," I got chills now, "it seems as if that was the unborn child or fetus or organism that was alive at that point, and maybe it was trying to tell us something, or I don't know what, I didn't know what to do with this. I told her, and to be honest, it put a distance between us that was that I saw, that I felt. She didn't know what to do with it. She's an engineer. She worked at Martin Marietta. She was making fuses for nuclear weapons, she told me. Maybe she was doing something top secret, who knows. They did ask her to go to Sandia. They offered her a job in Sandia. She asked me, should she take it? I said, I don't want to move to the desert. She said, yeah, me neither, really. So we stayed in Florida. But she never looked at me the same, is what it felt like. She thought that she thought I had some sort of connection to the underworld or something, like it was she never wanted to talk about it again. She hated my meditation from that point on. She felt like she was competing with my meditation, and really she was, for my ego, for myself. Like, my ego was on the way out with meditation. I wasn't the same person anymore that she married. I certainly wasn't. And meditation just completely changed me in a way that she didn't want. Anyway, we broke up shortly after. Within a year after. Later I found out I was in jhana, these jhana levels. I realized I went through 8 jhana levels, which is all there is. And I realized that through some writings, people mention the abhinas, A-B-H-I-N-N-A, abhina, or some people call abhijna, A-B-H-I-J-N-A, I think it is. But these are odd, they say, supernatural realms that you can get into once a meditator is reaching jhana 4 pretty steadily. And I had been in jhana 4, I realized then. And so one of the abhinas, the way that some of them are described is that you have the divine eye, which is a way of saying you have a look into the future about future events, which I had once or twice. I certainly had once, possibly twice. But this thing was more of some people say that you have the ability to see the souls arising and passing of unborn children, of unborn souls. So what I think that I saw then is I saw the passing of, I mean, it was alive at that time as I meditated and watched it, but then it passed probably overnight, and we saw the result of that on the tub in the water, you know. And so this is a super bizarre experience that is on par with the next experience that I'll talk about, which is just also mind-blowing in a different way. These are the two experiences that I've had in my life that are just so outside of the box, something you could never make up, you know, because I've never heard of something like this, never heard anybody say anything remotely close to this, never read it, never imagined it, I don't think could imagine it, you know, I just didn't have I'm not that good of an imagination there. Anyway, so that's that. My next one will be about this orb of light in my hotel room, and how it came to be, how I experienced it, and when it left, what happened. Also quite bizarre. Okay, hope you enjoyed that.